Welcome to the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show. Jeff, DiVeronica and Steve Bradley with a full house backfield of Hilton Cadets here right on the program, Steve. We're talking some wrestling out in Hilton. It's going to happen on February 10th. It's a special night. We're going to tell you all about it. It's not Hilton. Hilton isn't wrestling. It's two college programs, Cornell against Binghamton, and you're going to see some Hilton alums on those rosters. Steve, this could be pretty cool. Tell us a little about it, and then we'll introduce our guests.
Yeah, Jeff, I ran across it on social media, and I actually last month, and I got it mixed up. But when I saw Cornell and Binghamton are having what I would call a homecoming match at Hilton, where there's Hilton wrestlers on both teams, I'm like, that's just the coolest thing. And Hilton's been such a strong wrestling community, all kinds of tradition that I can't wait to hear more about it. This is a special show, and I don't know anybody else that's talking about this, so I'm ready to go.
Well, let's go with the intros here. We'll start with the oldest in the room and the guy who's retiring, good friend, Mike Giruzzi, athletic director of Hilton, is with us. Also the head coach in his 12th season with the Cadets, Craig Gross, is with us. A sophomore, Elijah Diakomihalis, a famous name, a familiar name also in Hilton wrestling circles. And then our senior, Nate Casper, joins us. Hi, Nate. How are you at the bottom of the screen? Wave to us, buddy. And then Elijah's up top there. Coach, Mr. Giruzzi, first, congratulations on the pending retirement. Very happy for you. Calling your own shot before they removed you. I'm just kidding, obviously. But how did this all come about, Mike? Let's start there.
Honestly, it was Coach Gross came into my office, I think last March. He had some communication with Kyle Borshoff, who's the Binghamton coach, and said that they were thinking about that. It's their home match, so they were asking about the availability of utilizing our Hilton gymnasium for their Binghamton Cornell match. Now, once Coach Gross brought that up, my eyes lit up. I'm like, absolutely, we'd love to do it. We began that communication between myself, Coach Gross, the coach Kyle Borshoff from Binghamton, and then obviously I worked through Dr. Kasorik, our school district, to see if this is something we can do. So we've been sort of pre-planning this event since that time. And, I try to think back. I don't know that we've ever had a Division I athletic contest in a high school environment. I know Syracuse has played basketball at the Blue Cross, but I'd like to see, maybe we check the archives of the DNC to see if that has occurred in the high school setting.
Well, I can tell
so
you
that's really how it began.
When I was a kid in Canastota, New York, the Syracuse basketball team would come and play like an intra-squad scrimmage. But this is a sanctioned NCAA event between two pretty good programs, Cornell and Binghamton, and they're loaded with Section 5 alums. The Diakomihalis DePrez. We're going to talk about our second segment. We're going to bring on Kyle Borshoff, who is the coach of Binghamton, a former Section 5 champion 3 times at Pittsford, and All-American at American University. And Coach Gross, I said, this is going to be a really cool night for you on many levels, I would think.
Yes, absolutely. To have 2 alumni wrestling, one coaching in Louie DePrez, just to have a Division I event, as Mr. Giruzzi said, at Hilton is unbelievable. It's going to be a packed house. I think the whole Section 5 wrestling community and people outside of Section 5 are very excited about it.
Elijah, I mean, it's got to be even more special for you. Yianni, your older brother, is a 3-time national champion for Cornell. Your brother Greg is on that team as well, and they're coming home. What's the talk been in your house about this event?
Yeah, like when Coach first mentioned it to me, I was kind of in shock, and I called them, and they're like, "Wait, really?" So they really didn't even know about it, and it's just been a cool thing, like talking about it. So our state qualifiers the day after, so they're gonna come to that, and it's just kind of like a little homecoming. They haven't really been home in a while. It's just be cool to see them wrestle in front of in Hilton.
Nate, how about for you to see these guys in your gym and guys that followed in your footsteps or in front of you in your footsteps? What's it gonna be like to watch these high-level wrestlers in your own gymnasium?
It's gonna be really cool. I right now I've been on the team for the longest for the wrestlers. I was on my 7th grade year, which was 6 years ago, and I remember I some of them were on before I was in high school, but a lot of them I've known during the wrestling team with me, and it's gonna be really cool to see everybody.
Craig, you're in your 12th season as coach of the Cadets. First segment, we wanted to get that out there that this is happening, but we also want to talk about this year's team a little bit. How's your team doing with sectionals? I believe are February 4th, which will have already happened, but you've got, as Elijah mentioned, you've got super sectionals and states coming up. What have the Cadets, how have the Cadets been so far this year?
They've been, I think some people would say we've been a pleasant surprise. We've had a great season. We just finished our dual meet season last night against Spencerport. We finished 23-3. We were dual meet champions a couple weeks ago. Participated in the New York State dual meet tournament, which is the top 12 teams in the state. And we're looking to bring home another sectional title this weekend at Fairport.
Greg, let me ask you this, because this is I never thought there was a point where in my career at the Democrat and Chronicle, I never thought that anyone would knock Spencerport off from the top of the mountain. I just didn't think it was going to happen. Much like I think Pittsford swimming boys swimming will never be knocked off the mountain. I could be wrong there too. What did it take to become the big dog of Section 5 wrestling? I'm not saying you are right now. I'm just saying for a good stretch, Hilton was the program, and you're still obviously awesome, a powerhouse. But what did it take did you have to work on these kids mentally to overcome the Spencer mystique, or was it just kids just go out and give it their all?
I think it just took a lot of hard work from the parents to the coaches to the wrestlers, and all that hard work combined together has helped us develop a great program. Hilton always had a rich tradition of wrestling. I think there was like over 50 seasons where Hilton didn't have a losing season. As my modified coach said, it took COVID to have a losing season, which we went 3-4 a couple years ago. So it feels good to be back on top. And the guys in the room, you know, they're the reason why they work hard every day and work on improving every day.
Nate, you've been on the team for 6 seasons. Coach mentioned that dreaded word COVID, so you've been through that as well. When you look back on it, and I know you've got hopefully 3 more weeks left, but when you look back on your experience as a Hilton wrestler, what are you going to remember the most?
Honestly, I remember, being like a young kid. I looked up to all the really good like state champion older guys, and they they were really positive influence when I was becoming a better and better wrestler every year. I'm just really grateful for that.
Elijah, let me ask you about your brother. Yianni's had a certain degree of success in the sport.
Yeah.
Have you learned? You talk to him much about what you do and what your strengths are, what you need to work on? I mean, he's at college, you're home. I get it. But did you, when you were even younger, did he counsel you much, or was it just learning from watching him do his thing?
Yeah, it was a lot of just like watching them practice, because like when I was younger, I used to never like practicing, but I think just from watching them practice a lot, I picked up on a lot of things. And no matter like whenever they're home, we're talking somehow, some sort of wrestling will get brought up. We're talking about it. So it's a big topic between us.
And Elijah, just to follow up, we had Yianni on after he won his 3rd national title last spring. He said something that stuck with me to this day. He says, I always practice like I'm the worst, but I go out on the mat like I'm the best. Has he passed on that mentality? I mean, for a guy that's done as much as he's done, to think like that, obviously it's fuel for him. Is that fuel for you as well?
Yeah, definitely between him influencing me and my coaches, it's definitely always a thing I thought about, like training really hard, and then you'll get the results from it. So just staying with that.
Mr. Giruzzi, could you give us some logistics? Is this thing sold out? Is this, how do you get tickets? We're going to air this.
So it's extremely exciting. Yes, we are sold out. We sold over 1,200 tickets. Our facility holds comfortably about 1,400 spectators. So, there's been a ton of excitement. It's sold out. We're actually now setting up a live stream. So we're going to broadcast it and sell a live stream for those that unfortunately couldn't get tickets because we were sold out. So obviously a tremendous amount of excitement all around Hilton. It's going to be a huge event to have our 5 graduates coming in the house, even though all 5 aren't wrestling. Such important pieces of the tradition of Hilton wrestling. I think about what Coach Gross has done and Coach Partridge and Coach Kratz behind them. And we have such a tradition. And now to have it come into our gymnasium, Division I college wrestling match with 5 of our graduates on those rosters. I mean, it's just awesome. We're so excited for our school, for our greater community. The amount of wrestling people and just people in general that reached out and are excited to be at that event. So logistically, it starts at 6 p.m. on February 10th. We're sold out. We have a whole management team. We're ready.
We were supposed to do this to promote the event. You know, you can't buy tickets. You don't need any promotion. It's already sold out.
Yeah.
We're just
Well,
we're not even gonna run this.
Well,
No
by
one's
the-
ever gonna see this.
Exciting piece, like Chris Bourne, retired athletic director from Brockport. He's announcing the event. So gonna be exciting, gonna be high energy.
I've done some emceeing since I left the DNC. I did do some emceeing.
You're more than welcome. I tell you what, I'll put both of you on the pass list. We still get
that's awesome.
some people on the pass list, so don't you worry.
Hey, I go way back to my high school days when Canastota was a powerhouse going against Fulton and Baldwinsville. I remember as like a 7th and 8th grade kid going to matches where it was jam-packed, extra bleachers. It was a great atmosphere, and I know Hilton is such a proud wrestling tradition. It's going to be a really cool night. I'm going to guess it's a varsity media production, or am I speaking?
We're actually we're working with Section 5, so it will be varsity media, but we're gonna hopefully run it through the Section 5 network, which has that paywall, so we can do it that way to be able to offer. You got to remember, it's a college event, so what we've learned is it's Division I, so there's different things that we have to do to ensure that they meet all the specifications that they have to run a Division I match. So yeah, Ben Turchin's involved, Sean Jeffers from Section 5. You know what? Maybe Sam Schreier. We may reach out to him to announce a little bit.
Just keep name dropping. That's okay. We'll get a cast of thousands.
Hey,
All
can
right.
I slide one in for Coach Gross before we go?
Absolutely.
Coach, to have this in your gym, where your program, where these wrestlers grew up, who's going to be there, and how proud does it make you?
It makes me very proud. As Mike mentioned, there's 5 guys on the roster, even though some of them aren't wrestling because of injuries and so forth. But it's just gonna be really cool to see them come back home and wrestle in their high school gym to be able to compete.
We got Lou and Sam at Binghamton, right? You got
Colin
Yianni,
Burns.
and I beg who's the third?
Colin Burns, heavyweight. He's at Binghamton also.
Okay.
So you got Colin's injured. Louie just got injured, had some surgery. Sammy will be wrestling, and then you got Greg, who's injured at Cornell, and obviously Yianni will be wrestling. So those are our 5. Sorry to interrupt.
That's okay. That's good. I appreciate the assist. Gentlemen, thank you all for being on our program. We're going to take a break, come back. We're going to bring on the coach of the Bearcats and some of those Hilton alums. Hey, Coach Gross, you might notice, are there other Section 5 guys that aren't Hilton guys on those rosters?
I don't believe so. Lige might know as far as Cornell.
We'll find, and maybe Coach Borshoff
I know
will know too.
Binghamton has a couple of Section 6 guys on the roster.
Yeah, I don't know anyone on the Cornell roster, I don't think.
Okay. Elijah, I might have to call you Yianni Jr. while we're still on, okay? Just because if I go back to when he was a sophomore and I remember interviewing him, it's like looking into the past right now. So, and that's a good compliment because I think your brother's one of the coolest kids I've ever met covering high school sports. So.
Thank you.
Elijah, thanks for being on our show.
A lot bigger version, Jeff.
Yeah, I can tell that. How tall are you?
Like 5'10", 5'11".
And what do you weigh?
I wrestle 189.
Oh boy. Okay. And Nate, what do you wrestle? What weight?
215.
Oh my goodness. All right. Gentlemen, appreciate your time. Enjoy the night. And thanks for being on our show. We appreciate it.
Jeff and Steve, thank you, and thanks for what you do for high school athletics.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
All
you.
right, we'll take our first break, come back, and talk more right here on the Cadets and Ferris High School Sports Show.
Looking for a used truck? Can you find one out of 350? At BobJohnsonAutoGroup.com, you'll find one. Love SUVs? 800 are waiting for you to take one home at BobJohnsonAutoGroup.com. Add 350 pre-owned sedans, and you've got a total of 1,500 used vehicles only at BobJohnsonAutoGroup.com.
Bob Johnson's got you right. Bob Johnson.
While we celebrate 140 years of serving our community, the kind of delicious joy that lasts a lifetime, we look forward to serving you for 140 more. With hardworking, wholehearted, passionate people who will help shape new memories for generations to come.
Have you visited Roberts Wesleyan University yet? The time is now to choose your own time to get a customized visit. You'll get a feel for the university, meet a current student over lunch, tour the campus, and more. You can set up a visit anytime and any day that works for you. Schedule your visit at roberts.edu/visit. At Roberts Wesleyan University, we want to make your visit twice as rewarding. Be one of the first 500 students to visit campus and receive a $100 Amazon gift card. To qualify, the traditional undergraduate student must attend an on-campus admissions event or personalize a visit to campus with at least 3 activities. 1 gift card per student. For more information, visit roberts.edu/visit.
You don't choose to get hurt at work, but you can choose the workers' comp attorneys at Connors and Ferris to fight for your money and medical benefits you deserve.
With over 20 years of industry experience, we will give your case our undivided attention so that you and your family can focus on your recovery.
So call Connors and Ferris, the workers' comp attorneys dedicated to fighting for injured workers' rights.
Connors and Ferris, your workers' comp attorneys.
The best 3 things here at McQuaid are definitely the sports, the brotherhood, and the service to community. I think that's a really big, important thing that McQuaid stresses, which is part of creating a better and great man. You definitely feel a connection with your fellow students here. It's being all guy school. You're able to relate to each other on a personal level, and everyone's very welcoming here with open arms and willing to be your friend.
Hi, this is Jeff DiVeronica. I'd like to tell you about my friends from Doyle Security. We lost my father-in-law a few years ago, and that meant my mother-in-law was going to be alone in her house. One of my first calls was to Doyle. Doyle has an award-winning burglary detection system, and that gave her peace of mind again. It gave her comfort. These days, you can't put a price tag on that. Whether it's for your family or yourself, at any stage of your life, Doyle is there for you. For seniors, Doyle offers a personally enabled GPS emergency response system. They have a full array of smart systems, including fire and carbon monoxide detection, security cameras, and more for your home or business. More than 35,000 families and businesses rely on Doyle every day and every night. Family owned and operated for more than 100 years, you don't have that kind of staying power unless you're doing something right. To learn more, call 1-866-GO-DOYLE or visit godoyle.com.
Sweet baby.
Local McDonald's operators care about our local schools, teams, and student athletes. That's why they support the return of high school athletics in the Rochester area and around the state. See you before or after the big game at McDonald's. Welcome back, Section 5. Game on!
Protecting your home's worth pays off when you trust the experienced team at American Custom. We've all seen our homes go up in value, making home improvements a wise choice. If you think your home is worth a lot now, just wait until our team is done with it. Call American today.
Welcome back to the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show. Jeff DiVeronica and Steve Bradley with our college portion of the program here. And excited to welcome on. We'll start with the coach of the Binghamton Bearcats, Kyle Borshoff, former state champion wrestler from Pittsford, 3-time All-American at All-American at American University. Not easy to say. Got another All-American in the house here, Yianni Diakomihalis here, and also Louie DePrez, former state champ from Hilton. He's injured, but he's part of the Binghamton Bearcats lineup. He's actually doing some coaching the rest of the season because of the injury. Steve, pretty cool cast we got here, isn't it?
Dude, that's amazing. Section 5 alumni. It's like a wrestling Hall of Fame, Wall of Fame, and we're just glad to have a few minutes with these gentlemen.
So you're coming back to Hilton, guys. Let's start with Coach. Coach, how did this whole match, and is this done very often, where you're taking a Division I wrestling match on the road to someone's hometown? Pretty cool. How did this all come about, and is it normal?
So this is the first time we've ever done this since I've been around at Binghamton. We wrestled. I did something like this when I was in college at a school in Pennsylvania, but we were traveling home from the NCAAs last year, just kind of reflecting on, right, Louie's got one more shot next year. Obviously knowing Yianni and Louie were buddies growing up in the same age. I reached out to Coach Gray and just kind of said, hey, let's do a dual meet at Hilton, right? We usually go back and forth every year. We're at Cornell, then they come to us and vice versa. So I reached out to him, said, hey, let's get this going. And he was all for it, right? There was no hesitation, right? He understood immediately what it meant, right? Like, get these guys back at home. Let's put them in front of their families and their friends, and let's have a match, right? So after that, got in touch with Mike Giruzzi, and he was awesome, right? He was same thing. Immediately when I brought it up, he was like, yep, we'll do it. Doesn't matter when it is, doesn't matter, what you need, we'll make it happen. So just pumped to be coming back to town that way, and excited for, Yianni and Sammy and Louie and all those guys to be back in front of their home crowd.
So Yianni, your senior year of high school, you actually got injured and it got cut short. So you really didn't get your final match at Hilton like you may have in the original plan. So from a sentimental part, and I know that you're as focused as they come, what does this mean to you?
No, I mean, especially looking back on that injury, it's not like you're sitting there thinking to yourself, well, I'll probably wrestle a college match in Rochester because, why would you? So having this opportunity to, go back in front of my family and, get back into that environment that we had at Hilton, that was really exciting. It's a really cool opportunity that, a lot of people don't get to have. When they wrestle their last high school match in their home gym, they're not going back, so I think this is an opportunity not a lot of people get. And I'm really excited that, Coach Gray and Coach Borshoff were able to make it happen. And I think it's going to be a fun atmosphere.
We're looking at 8 state championships in the room right here, Steve. 4, 3, and 1. Louie, you had 3 state championships at Hilton, and you're injured now, but I know you can't wrestle. But there's going to be 1,400 people there. I'm going to guess that no cadet. Maybe I'm wrong. You tell. Was there ever a cadet match that had 1,400 people in the gym? Was Hilton Spencer Ford that big?
Definitely not. This is going to be packed house, so it'll definitely be fun. And even though I can't wrestle, it's going to be nice to go back there. I think it was like 6 years now that last time I stepped in the gymnasium, because I spent most of my time in Binghamton. But so it'll definitely be a good event.
And Jeff, I mean, just the credentials of these guys. You mentioned the 8 New York State championships. Louie's the all-time winner at Binghamton with 134 wins. Yianni's got 103 wins at Cornell as we tape this, three NCAA championships. Coach Borshoff's an All-American. And Coach, we know how passionate wrestling fans and the wrestling community is. How much of this too is just to help grow the sport, the awareness, have that grassroots feeling that wrestling is as big as it is. You guys are at the top of it all. You're not too big to come home.
Yeah, I love Section 5, right? I love where I'm from. My family still lives there, and family and community have always been really important to me, right? I wrestle with my brothers, like Louie and Yianni, right? My brothers and I went to the same college. We've always remained tight with our family and our friends and community. And, I think that it's really important to have that in wrestling. So I do think it's pretty cool that we're going to go back and do this in the Rochester area at Hilton High School. And I'm really happy and excited that the community responded in the way that they did. I mean, we opened up the tickets, and I mean, this thing sold out fast, right? It was pretty much done. I remember sending a tweet out, there's like 100 tickets left, and then they were gone the next day. So I think we're working on getting this thing streamed too through the Section 5 Wrestling Network or something along those lines. So that info will be coming out too for anyone that couldn't get a ticket and wants to tune in and watch.
Yianni, this is a real great platform for you guys. I'm sure it'll be not just Hilton fans that are there. There could be a lot of young kids in this crowd. I mean, I know we've talked about being a role model before, but how much do you think this could help kind of really inspire kids to look at the platform you could have one day where you got a sold out gym and you're wrestling back? I mean, I don't know. I just keep coming back. I feel like it's gonna be almost surreal for you guys.
Yeah, definitely. I remember back in Baker Boys with Coach Lou. He passed away. Just he would take us out to Olympia and have us watch the varsity guys in high school wrestle, and that was just like a big moment, like looking up, and see these guys that eventually like you would want to be wrestling on that team, and just this go back to Hilton and just another level up, college level, had even like the high school guys looking and watching you wrestle out there. It's something special.
And Yianni, Greg or Elijah mentioned in the first segment that you're going to be able to see him wrestle in his state qualifier too. So really is a homecoming weekend for you.
Yeah, I mean, Elijah, because he was our younger brother, like he came to every tournament. Like he's probably watched, every single match I've ever wrestled since he was born, whether he remembers it or not, and because Greg and I are in school, we don't get to see him that often, especially not in person. So when we do have those opportunities that we can watch him and, kind of switch roles where we're watching him go out there and compete, it means a lot to us. And, I'd like to think it means a lot to him too, having us, be there for him.
Louie, you can't wrestle because you're injured. January 2nd, the Southern Scuffle. Where was that, the Southern Scuffle? How south were we?
Tennessee.
Okay. What happened?
We're down there.
What's the injury? What happened? Because I know you're shutting it down for the season. And what's your plan here? Can you tell us something about that?
Yeah, so basically during the match, the guy was on a shot and I was just kind of hopping backwards. I was gonna kind of do like a split out of bounds, but my foot got stuck and I tore a bunch of ligaments in my foot. And right when it happened, I kind of knew something it just didn't feel right, and I couldn't really press off of it. So then we called the match, got a bunch of stuff done, and I had to get surgery on it. It was a Liz Frank tear. So I don't know. They say the recovery time's 6 to 9 months. So I'm gonna be off the mat for a good amount of time. And then since that happened, Kyle came to me with an opportunity to coach, because I still want to be involved with the team. I love the guys. So I took that up, and hopefully I'll get back down there. I'm kind of just sitting at home while I got 4 more weeks until I can actually put weight on it with the boot. I'm kind of one-legged right now. So
Kyle, could you just let our viewers know what Lou has meant to the Binghamton program and why you immediately thought he would be a good coach?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a knock on Louie, but Louie's whole family has meant a lot to the Binghamton wrestling program. And Louie's not the first DePrez that's going to be coaching with us at the Binghamton program. His brother Vincent actually coached. He was our volunteer coach for a few weeks. Maybe it was maybe a month and a half a few years back. But yeah, I mean, what Louie's done is it's unparalleled at Binghamton from a wrestling standpoint. And I'm excited to have him back on board. He's built the guys around him on the team. And when you look at our program, you see the direct influence of the guys that he works with every day. So now he gets to evolve that capacity into, right, as a wrestler, you always have to be selfish. a little bit, right? You have to win. And now as a coach, he's going to be able to give everything to those guys around him. And we're very fortunate that Louie is going to be doing that. And I couldn't say enough about how much it means. So I've gotten to travel with Louie around the world, and I'm glad to have him back in Binghamton, at least, for as long as we can keep him.
Yeah, one more quick one for Louie, Steven, and hit Yianni with one here. Louie, is this something that you want to pursue down the road when like this could be, you could be the next Kyle Borshoff, maybe somewhere else. We're not trying to get a new job for Kyle here, but do you want to be a head coach at the D1 program someday?
Yeah, I do have interest in coaching and just being around the sport. I've dedicated pretty much my whole life to the sport of wrestling, and I enjoy it. I love it. And just to give back now to the people that have helped me, it's something I want to consider for my future.
And then Yianni, I know that you're focused on this season and everything. Have you thought beyond that, or are you still just the whole what's next question, or is it too early to ask that?
No, I actually for a while I think I was maybe looking too far ahead, thinking about some of my freestyle and international aspirations, and I think it kind of came back to bite me a little bit. So for now, I'm just gonna try to stay as focused on the season as I can. Obviously, I do plan on competing after college, and kind of setting my sights more towards that freestyle international wrestling, world championships and Olympic games. But yeah, obviously you can't wrestle forever, and coaching is something that I'm definitely very interested in also.
I'm looking at the notes Steve gave me, Yianni, and forgive me, I've known you a long time, but he wrote down 9-1 this season. Is that accurate, Steve? Someone beat you?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to bring that up, but I gotta. That's news making, right? That's breaking news. What happened?
Yeah. So it was the first match of the season. I was wrestling against Austin Gomez, who is currently the number 2 guy in the country, and just, I mean, there's just no really excuse there. So maybe a little bit of a lack of preparation on my end kind of led to some, poor decisions or poor outcome in the match. I just, I think I was probably coming off of that world medal and, not as focused on folk style, really trying to focus on the things I was doing at the Worlds and what I needed to do to be that guy who beat me in the gold medal match. And I think I just kind of, overlooked some of these college wrestlers, and, as credit to that guy, he was ready. He brought his best game, and he got me. So, had to focus back in and, lock back in on the college wrestling and the folk style training. And now, from now until the NCAA tournament, and even, before now, obviously it's been 100% focused on folk style.
That guy just dumped the gasoline on the fire in Yianni's heart and his belly right now. I tell you that. And I just realized, Yianni, in your career, your lifetime, really, you haven't had to answer much about what happened there after a loss. I'm just, as you're talking, I'm going, he hasn't really answered this question much in his whole career. So, and I know you well enough to know that that's probably burning inside of you, right? How much is that bothering you?
Yeah, it definitely feels like a kick in the face, I had beaten that guy last year, and it just, looking back on the match and how I wrestled, I just wasn't, it wasn't good. I didn't compete well. I wasn't, wrestling hard. I just wasn't prepared to, have to get in there and fight for one. And, that's inexcusable, right? Because wrestling is hard, and the number 2 guy in the country is a skilled guy. So, kind of, maybe a little too focused on freestyle and too focused on what happened at the World Championships and what I needed to do specifically for, the European wrestlers. And after that, it was like, all right, let's put that on the back burner. You've got a lot of years ahead of you to compete internationally. Let's just focus on it's my last college season. Let's make sure we focus on having a good one.
You know what a champion does, Steve? He never, it eats away. The losses eat away at you. That you never are satisfied. I love that. That's what makes you guys great. You, Louie, the DePrez family, the Diakomihalis family. You guys have really set a standard here in Section 5. No disrespect to your family, Kyle. I'm not.
Kyle, easy. I did my homework on Kyle. Kyle's dad, Tim, is
that's
also
right.
a big Hall of Famer. So we got wrestling royalty here. Was your dad a wrestler at Binghamton, Kyle? What's Tim's story?
He is. So he was. Yeah, my dad wrestled at Binghamton. He was an NCAA finalist. He graduated in 3 years. So his junior year, he finished second in the country. And, back then, Yianni said you can't wrestle forever. And people really didn't wrestle forever then. So he got his degree and he moved on. But I was actually with one of his buddies the other day. He came to our match against Hofstra and said, "Hey, do you know what your dad did in 1975?" Right. And I was like, I don't know. Right. Binghamton, we were Division III back then. And we were wrestling Hofstra. Right. And Hofstra, they were Division I. And your dad, he wrestled a guy named Nick Garone. And he beat him in that match. Right. And Nick Garone was a D1 national champion that year, I believe. So it's a cool piece of history that I like to keep hearing about from my dad's buddies.
It's really cool. And we really appreciate you guys making some time for us. I joked with Mr. Giruzzi, the athletic director from Hilton. I said, when we initially talked about doing this, because I approached him about doing this. So yeah, we'll try to help you guys sell this thing out. And lo and behold, we're still 9 days in advance as we record this, and the thing is sold out. And they're going to sell some live streams. So it's great for the sport of wrestling in our area. It's great for you guys and your families and your programs. And again, we appreciate you making some time to talk to us and promote the great sport of wrestling here in Section 5 in the state of New York. So Coach Borshoff, thanks for being on our show. We appreciate it. Steve, before I forget, anything else, Steve? Are we good, man? We good?
We're good. This is going to be awesome. And we just, like you said, thank these guys for their time. They've been more than generous with us.
Louie, thank the whole family. Lou, speedy recovery, full recovery. And
thank you.
And Yianni, good to catch up with you again. Appreciate you making some time, young man.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
For Steve Bradley, all of our guests here, this segment and the first one, and for producer Joe Brott, my name is Chef DiVeronica. Thanks for watching us right here. February 10th, get the live stream info. We'll put that as part of this video. You'll see it in the post. But make sure you watch it. It's going to be a really cool night in Hilton. Thanks for watching us right here on the Connors and Ferris High School Sports Show.